skipping the lines used to be free? Can you still stack? And what is stacking? And is Jungle Cruise really that popular? Find out on this episode of Parkgoers Go. Hello, Parkgoers, and welcome to Parkgoers Go, your go-to podcast for all things theme parks. Now, no one likes waiting in lines, right? And we've seen a lot of the big theme parks navigate this with things like Six Flags' FastPass, Cedar Fair's Fastlane Pass, Knott's Berry Farm's Fastlane, and so on and so on. As you may or may not know, Disney has announced that they are rolling out a brand new skip-the-line system called Lightning Lane Multi-Pass and Lightning Lane Single Pass starting this week on July 24th. On today's episode, we're going to dive into the different skip-the-line all virtual queue systems that Disney has rolled out in the past, compare how they are similar and different, and project what's in store for Walt Disney World Resort guests in the future. I'm your host, Nate.
I'm Logan.
And I'm Dustin.
Who's excited for another system?
Woo! Yes. I don't know. After Genie Plus, I am.
I'm kind of excited. I don't know. I like Genie Plus, but I also didn't really know anything about it. Nathaniel kind of handled everything every time we went. But I did do a lot of digging into the Lightning Lane new passes, so I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, being a FastPass Plus boy, I am excited with some of the new changes that they're making.
It does feel like it hasn't been that long since the last system, but I don't know, I'm excited.
How long has it been? It was only like 2 years, wasn't it?
2 to 4 years maybe. But before we get into too much detail, let's take a stroll down Disney's history. There were essentially 3 big branded iterations.
There's the FastPass era,
there's the Genie Plus era,
and the Lightning Lanes.
Without further ado, Dustin, take it away and tell us a little bit about the OG FastPass.
Yeah, so basically in 1999, Disney established a free virtual queue, a queue where you didn't have to wait in normal standby line and where you would get a return time to come back. This is also known as the paper FastPass era, where you would go to a kiosk at the entrance of the ride, scan your ticket, and receive a receipt with an hour-long return window where you could bypass the standby line and board the attraction quicker. Originally, this was mainly for popular rides, but then slowly expanded to include the majority of the rides on property. Once you got a FastPass, you would have to wait 2 hours to make another FastPass, or after the current one was used. The FastPass that you would receive would be for the next available return time, and you could not alter your choice after you got your FastPass. In 2013, we got a technological upgrade with FastPass Plus, which was a free virtual queue app where you could make 3 FastPasses up to 30 days before your park arrival date, or if you were staying on property, 60 days, all on your phone or online. The way these FastPasses worked was after you used your first 3, then you could make 1 at a time for the rest of the day, but you had to use your first 3 in order to continue making more. This system was only available in Walt Disney World and got rid of the paper FastPass system there. Now, the cool thing about this iteration was that rather than giving you the next available time, it displayed an option of multiple different wait times that you could pick throughout the day. With the app, you were also offered the opportunity to alter your choices at any time, being changing to different times or canceling FastPasses. Eventually, they began to put the rides in different categories on a top tier and bottom tier being the more popular rides, and limit how many times you could make a FastPass for the higher tiered rides. In 2017, Disneyland also got an upgrade with MaxPass, which was an exclusive paid app, the first time FastPass would be paid for. This system allowed for getting FastPasses without going to the attraction kiosks, even though the paper FastPasses were still an option. You were able to get a new FastPass every 90 minutes rather than 2 hours, or after you redeemed your last FastPass. But unlike FastPass Plus, it only displayed the next available return time. But you would be able to alter your choices through the app. Now, although this was a paid enhancement, it would also include free downloads in PhotoPass. Just to do a comparison, MaxPass averaged about $20 in Disneyland, whereas in Walt Disney World, PhotoPass was about $185. So this was a pretty good deal. But in 2021, everything would change. Back to you, Nate.
That's right, Dustin. When the park closed for COVID-19 pandemic, people were wondering what was going to happen. What was FastPass going to continue, or was it going to be replaced with something else? In 2021, Disney Genie was introduced with a whole new interface in the My Disney Experience app in the form of Genie, Genie Plus, and individual lightning lanes. The Genie portion of the system is a free tool for guests, allowing itinerary planning, reservation tracking, and checking wait times. The Genie Plus portion, however, is a paid service allowing guests access to book multiple lightning lane reservations, allowing guests to skip the lines at the select attractions. The system worked similar to MaxPass and operated on a first available time system. All guests were able to book the first lightning lane at 7 a.m. on the day of their visit, and book the second either when the first one was used, the window expired, or 120 minutes have passed since the previous booking, starting when the park opened. Individual lightning lanes are also sold at one attraction per purchase for specific attractions and has the option to book specific times for these attractions. These attractions were usually the most popular at the park or the most new, so we saw these at rides like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in Magic Kingdom, Flight of Passage in Animal Kingdom, or Rise of the Resistance in Hollywood Studios. As time went by and new attractions opened up, some of these were bumped into the Genie Plus system, which really upped the value for Genie Plus. Now, these systems were individual, so you did not have to have Genie Plus for the day to buy an individual lightning lane, giving guests the flexibility of how they wanted to spend their money. Costs started at $15 per day per person, but it was eventually switched to dynamic pricing from $15 to $39 per person per day, depending on the park selected and the crowds that day. The individual lightning lanes, or the individual lightning lane a la carte, as Disney branded it, also started at $15 per ride per person, but also switched to a dynamic pricing model, averaging anywhere between $20 to $25 per ride.
And on June 25th, 2024, Disney announced Lightning Lane Multi-Pass and Lightning Lane Single Pass, both launching July 24th, 2024. This is the newest iteration of the passes and brings back many of the concepts from the previous ones. The changes we'll talk about today only impact Disney World in Orlando, while Disneyland, though receiving the name change, will not have changes to the way the pass system functions today. We'll start first with a Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. Lightning Lane Multi-Pass allows guests to hold 3 lightning lanes at any given time during their trip. You are able to pre-book the 3 lightning lanes in advance, a standard 3 days before your entry date. But if you're staying at a Disney resort, you're able to pre-book 7 days before your entry date, up to 14 days length of stay. The multi-pass system brings back the tiered ride strategy, but not for every park. Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios will have a designated Tier 1 and Tier 2 rides for selection. Guests will be able to pre-book 1 ride from Tier 1 and 2 rides from Tier 2. However, tiers only apply when pre-booking attractions. For example, if you book 2 Tier 2 rides, one at 8 and one at 9, and say a Tier 3 at noon, once you redeem your first Tier 2 ride, you are free to book a Tier 1 ride as available. There are some limitations that come along with multi-pass. All selections when pre-booking have to be selected from the same park. If you have a park hopper, you're able to make a lightning lane at any park after redeeming your first for that day. Keep in mind there is limited availability for every ride, so you may have to do some periodic checks and adjusts to your plans if you're looking for a specific ride. You are also not able to reselect a ride to ride again once you've already redeemed a pass for it. Last important thing to note with multi-pass is that you can make modifications. You are able to change the park the multi-pass is purchased for, but with the variable pricing per park per day, you may have to pay the difference. You can also adjust the day the pass is active for up until redemption, and by ride up until the check-in window. Alright, so let's move to the Lightning Lane Single Pass. Lightning Lane Single Pass, while a separate system, can be purchased at the same time as the multi-pass, so if you know you want one of these top attractions, you want to make sure you snag one of these single passes early. Single passes will also follow the pre-booking rule of 3 days or 7 days, and follows the same modified rules as the multi-pass. However, you are only able to hold 2 single passes per day up to the 14-day length of stay. At Magic Kingdom, the Lightning Lane single pass rides are Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron. At Epcot, we have Guardians. At Hollywood Studios, we have Rise of the Resistance. And at Animal Kingdom, we have Flight of Passage. You'll still be able to queue up for all these rides in the normal standby or if virtual queue is available, but these are our new Lightning Lane options for Disney World.
Okay, well, that was a lot of information all at once. So since this episode is very information heavy, we're going to be splitting it up with a fun game. So we'll do 3 rounds of it, and this will be round 1. So now it's time for the segment called Park Pairing. So Park Pairings is basically a game where kind of the same rules as Wheel of Fortune's Before and After, where I take 2 different things from theme parks and then that each have 2 or more words in them, and then the first thing, the last word, will be the same as the first word of the second thing. So an example is if I said, orbit the Earth in Epcot, and then in Magic Kingdom, you could be, that's Mission Space in Epcot and Space Mountain in Magic Kingdom. So that would be Mission Space Mountain. It's either going to be that or it rhymes. Like if I said, hey, go over to the Blue Bayou and get a signature meal, and then, pack your trunk for your flight. Then it could be signature meal at Blue Bayou, gumbo, and then pack trunk for flight, Dumbo. Gumbo, Dumbo. So it's something like that. All right, are you guys ready?
Yes. Yep.
All right. First one. Globetrotting by boat, then globetrotting by foot. So start your day globetrotting by boat, then go globetrotting by foot. Figure it out.
What is globetrotting? Like the basketball team?
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, but the only other thing is literal like you are.
Means traveling.
I'm thinking like Epcot.
Traveling around the globe.
Epcot.
Around the world.
Okay, so Epcot.
But globetrotting by boat and then globetrotting by foot. You can take a boat to Magic Kingdom. And you can walk.
Wait, okay, but how is this? Let's look at the rules. Okay, combine 2 theme parks together with 1 word linking both or a rhythm pairing.
Oh, it's 2
Rhyming
parks?
pairing.
It's 2 parks? Wait, is it always
Could
2
be.
parks?
Like the example was Mission Space and Space Mountain, so it's Mission Space Mountain. You're looking for something like that.
But Dumbo Gumbo
Or
is
rhymes.
the same park.
Or
That's what
rhymes.
he's saying, that this
Which
first
I'm
one
telling
is
you
what
right
we're
now,
looking
it's
for.
not the rhyming one.
You just said it was the first one.
Yes.
Globetrot.
Okay, globetrotting by boat and globetrotting by foot is what it was?
Yes, those are the hints.
I mean, the globetrotting by foot is probably Epcot, right? Since we established globetrotting means traveling the world. And you can really only walk there. Globetrotting by boat, I really can only think of Magic Kingdom. That's the only park that I know that you can take a boat to.
Also, remember, guys, each one of these answers has to be more than 1 word
Why?
so that they can combine.
Okay, well, World Showcase. That's 2 words. What is the...
What is the other? Okay, World Showcase is
2 worlds.
and Epcot.
Yeah. Globe-trotting by boat. Is there a boat ride, maybe? Like at a different park that you...
I'm thinking. I'm trying. Is there... all I think about is that little thing in like Animal Kingdom.
I feel like the audience is pulling out their hair.
I don't think they are. I think they are also confused.
You guys literally just set the table and just
walked away.
going, "Where's the meal?" When it's sitting right in front of you.
Hold on. World Showcase.
What was the question you just asked?
Is there a boat
What was the
ride?
question you just asked?
Is there a
there what?
ride? Is there a boat ride that takes you around the world? It's not. Is it? Wait.
Is it
Is
Boat
it small?
Showcase?
Is it Small World?
Oh, Small World Showcase.
Oh my god.
It's a small world
It's
showcase.
a Small
Yeah.
World Showcase.
It's a small world showcase.
This
Honestly,
is like my least. I can't do this.
This was much harder than I thought it was.
Well,
gonna be.
what's funny is that I had 3,
Okay, now
and that
wait.
one was the easiest. So now, since this is about the 5th iteration of the virtual queue at Disney, I think it would be pretty fun to kind of see what bits and pieces Disney has taken from the past iterations and put into this new one. So I'll start with the FastPass and then basically go down from there. So the FastPass was a free virtual queue. Okay, this new one's not free, but it is a virtual queue. So I guess they took that from the original FastPass. No paper FastPasses anymore, no kiosks. It covers most rides, which is good. A new FastPass every 2 hours. It looks like we lost, but you can redeem one after you use one. Still survived.
Oh, right. Yeah, there is no stacking anymore.
Correct. A window time of an hour is the same. Still able to bypass the standby line.
That's like standard though.
Yeah, so it looks like the only real thing that Lightning Lane Pass has taken from the original FastPass is that it is a virtual queue that skips the standby line. It gives you an hour-long window to ride the attraction. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Moving on to FastPass Plus, we get the app. So now you're able to do everything on your phone. We get introduced to making FastPasses before you get into the park. Now, it was a lot more vast.
Evasti Yardies Yo Ho.
A lot more vast in timing when it came to FastPass Plus, which was 30 to 60 days as opposed to 3 to 7. But we got introduced to that. Making up to 3 FastPasses was also, still made it, except for back in FastPass Plus, you had to use the first 3 in order to make one at a time, where now, from my understanding, you make 3, and then after you redeem one, you can make a new one. So, I think that is a little bit of an upgrade. Oh, we also get introduced to the display of multiple different return times that you could pick throughout the day instead of just getting the next available time, which is also a good thing that transferred over. You're able to alter your choice, which is something that transferred over because you could do that now. And the beginning of the tiered ride system, which once again we also see in the new iteration. So I think FastPass Plus was a big source that they pulled from to make this new one. With MaxPass, we got the introduction to it as a paid service, which obviously returned and is here to stay, it looks like. And the inclusion of some form of PhotoPass, which would be, Logan, correct me if I'm wrong, which is basically just ride photos and then the enhancements that you can get through the app of your own photos that you take yourself.
I think it's just ride photos.
So like selfie photos and things like that, right?
Right. It's the augmented filters where like Mickey can hop around your shoulder or something, similar to what Snapchat does.
Yeah, well, they do have that with Genie Plus, so I'd be very surprised if they got rid of that.
But the ride photos wasn't, correct?
The ride photos is not included with Genie Plus. So I am excited about that because I do love getting ride photos without the watermark on it.
Now, Nathaniel, I'm tossing over to you. What from Genie Plus has rolled over to the new system?
Honestly, not much stayed from Genie Plus. Obviously it's a paid service, so that is still here. Besides that, I don't think I mentioned it before, but the ability to modify your selections is staying. That wasn't introduced originally when Genie Plus was introduced, but it was something that they added in later on. So I'm really glad to see that that is sticking around. The 120-minute rule is now gone, which thankfully so, because I know it confused a lot of different people. The first available time system is now gone, opting for the window selections. The dynamic pricing has remained, and the individual lightning lanes a la carte, or the individual lightning lanes as some people like to call it, is still here. Not much has changed there. It's all just in one purchase right now, so it just became a little more convenient. So what do we think? I mean, I know that Disney, before they announced this last year, they said that they were aiming to make Genie Plus simpler, stress-free, and the goal is to let people spend less time on their phones. So do we think that they achieved this with this multi-pass and single-pass system?
Well, no. I mean,
Are you kidding me,
one
Nate?
thing. Okay, disclosure. My favorite era of Disney was the FastPass Plus era because it seemed like it gave you the opportunity to make FastPasses when you weren't near a kiosk, or if you didn't want to be on your phone all day, you could go to a kiosk. The thing is that with Genie Plus, they got rid of the kiosks. So once you get rid of the kiosks, and everybody's relying on the phone, so you're just on your phone all day. Now, with the whole different methods, like favorite method of you guys, which would be stacking, which is where you would make fast passes earlier in the day for later, and then you'd wait however long you had to wait. Then you make other fast passes for later in the day, and you keep on doing it so that when it hits a certain point, you just have all your main fast passes at the end of the day. They got rid of that too. There's no wait period, so you have to use it in order to get a new one. So you're constantly going to be on your phone because after you redeem one, you're looking for another. And after you redeem one, you're looking for another. And then it also relies on the other method, which is refresh. Because once you get a fast pass, specifically in the method of giving you multiple different times as opposed to the next available, if somebody cancels their fast pass or changes their fast pass time then goes back into the pool so that you can choose it. So if you refresh enough, then you're going to find a fast pass with an earlier time, or for a ride that you didn't have a fast pass originally because they were all taken up. So with that being said, people are going to be on their phones way more with this method than they would have arguably with Genie Plus. So that's my 2 cents.
I don't know. I think it'll be about the same. If anything, you have to wait until, like, I think it all depends on when you're able to secure a fast pass versus because you have to redeem it before you can even do your next one. But when it was waiting for 2 hours, I don't know. But I also think about, like, we're never going to be able to get away from people complaining about either they're on their phone too much or they have to find a kiosk or like the kiosk is broken. I don't have my ticket. I lost this. Like, there's always going to be some form of action and demand on the guest to be able to partake in something in a system like this. And if anything, because I was trying to think as you were speaking about, like, okay, people do complain about having to be on the phone all the time when they're in that situation, or like when they have one of these things. What was the difference, and what would be the common, like, complaints if it was FastPass? Like, if it was the paper pass, one, I feel like right now they would get a lot of pushback of having paper passes of, like, that's not environmentally friendly. Disney's probably spending a lot of money to make sure that these things are functioning. One, functioning. Two, that they don't run out of paper. And then maybe even some manpower there that has to happen too. I feel like everything going with on your phone, it's more convenient for everybody. I mean, I guess the one downside there is people who don't have one. But I don't know. I think it's a necessary evil, in my opinion, that it's something that you're going to have to just kind of deal with during your day if you choose to partake in the FastPass system, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely good points. I mean, I think that, when what we talk about reducing the stress on the day of your park visit, I feel like that was the goal of Disney. But instead of reducing the stress overall, they kind of just spread it out. So instead of, stressing about it at, 6:45, 7 a.m., and going through, the entire day walking on bookings, now that they have the pre-bookings, you're kind of just doing that in advance. Like, the stress is still there. My main concern, I think, is kind of what Dustin was getting at, is that capacity, I think, is going to be a big issue. I do remember when I used Genie Plus, there were some days where it was really hard to get another lightning lane. And I think that that was a big complaint from a lot of users, is that Disney promised that you should at least be able to ride 3 lines. And they considered that as getting the value of what you're spending. So it's no surprise that they introduced this new system with automatically, you can pre-book 3 rides. My gripe is that what is the availability going to look like for guests who are non-resort guests and have to wait an extra 4 days before they can pre-book? And what is it going to look like on the day of the park visits once they actually redeem that first ride? How much is going to be available to keep rebooking? I think, like Dustin said, it's probably going to require a lot of refreshing if you're not getting options that you're satisfied with. At the same time, having 3 at a time is definitely better than having 1. So there definitely does seem to be some give and takes there.
Well, and it makes me think about this, like, everyone's going to be in the same boat with the multi-pass and doing these different things. Like, when it came to being, like, the ability to stack, this breaks it up more in my head, because people, when they're stacking, you're obviously taking up more and more fast passes of everyone who might not be stacking or doesn't know how, or I don't know. But this way, you don't really have that option. Everyone's restricted to what their decisions are based on what it is they want to do or what's available at that time. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a plus. I don't know what that's going to look like. I wish we had some data, that like hard data that we can actually look at, so we can see kind of the causation of like these adjustments based on what, just because that's something that I'm super interested in understanding a little bit more of. But I think it's still going to pose a challenge, especially for more popular rides, because it's naturally going to happen that way. But I am super, super interested to see what that availability looks like and how challenging it is to find something. Because I feel like it might, I don't know.
I see this new system as a big positive overall. I think, like I said, I was a huge fan of FastPass Plus. When I worked down at Disney, that was the system I was trained in. I was specifically trained in it because Jungle Cruise had the FastPass kiosk, so I had to go through special training in order to facilitate those. From my understanding, they don't give all the FastPasses away before the day of the park, meaning that they allot a certain amount of FastPasses to be given away to those who want to pre-plan, but when the park opens that day, there are FastPasses allotted for the day guests. So it's not like if you missed it before you even got to the park, then it's over, because you'd still find plenty of fast passes. It's just there shouldn't be a fear that you're going to miss out on something because there's going to be more fast passes. Now, what's interesting too is, I'm not sure if we covered this, but from the wording, it sounds like 3 days from the first day that you have park tickets, you can start making fast passes. So if you have, let's say, 5 consecutive days you're going to the parks, then 3 days out from your first day, you can start making fast passes for that 5th day. Does that make sense?
I think so, because it's up to 14 days.
Right.
I think people who have those longer stays are definitely going to see a lot of value if they choose to book it.
Oh, 100%.
And I think it would be a great idea for those people to book starting probably from the last day.
Well, I'm sure that's also a good selling point for Disney to be like, hey, listen, if you stay longer days, then you can make, I know you didn't get the fast passes you wanted the first couple days, but if you stay a couple more days, you can make fast passes the last tail end.
Can you imagine going to Disney for 14 days? Like that's it. I hope we have park goers that have vacations to that caliber that can just maximize the like everything that you can do with that. And I would love to hear from them because that sounds wild to me.
It does sound wild, but at the same time, it's like if you're going 14 days, do you really need to buy multipass? I mean, I feel like you got the time.
Well, just from observation, but also working and getting trained in the travel agency side of it, those are exactly the guests that Disney is currently going after. The ones who can drop a lot of money and stay for a long time. You're not worrying about money. You're probably going to be staying on property. Spending money is not an issue for you. So the thing is that you're going to be eating in the parks. You're going to be buying souvenirs in the parks. I guess it also includes those people who don't really vacation much. So like they save up a lot of money. It's like you might as well, go big. We don't have a lot of vacation time at my work. So I get 2 weeks off. Why not just spend it in one place or something like that? I don't know, people. But hey, like Logan said, if you are one of those people or have ever done that, reach out to us and let us know your experience. But that's enough facts. For now, it's time for round 2 of Park Pairings.
Okay, well, do it. Give us another one.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Barely.
All right. Explore U.S. history, then explore the wild.
Okay. Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, maybe?
No.
What's that president's
We have
thing?
to figure out if it's one of these 3 things, too.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
It could be rhyming. It could be the same thing as last time.
Would it be easier if I just told you?
Yes.
Okay, it's the before and after. It's not rhyming.
What is a before and after?
So it shares the word, just like It's a Small World showcase.
Okay.
So it has one word in common.
Oh, it's the same one?
Same word in the middle.
Okay,
right?
so it's say it again.
Explore U.S. history, then explore the wild.
Okay, so U.S. history is the one place in Epcot. No.
In Main Street, USA.
Where's the Hall of Presidents?
Main Street, USA. Magic Kingdom.
And then, what else are we exploring? The wild?
Before you guys go down that rabbit hole.
Okay, wait. Is it Disney?
Hall of Presidents is in Liberty Square.
That's what. Thank you. I knew it wasn't.
Okay.
Moments with Lincoln is in Main Street and Disneyland. But also, both of them are wrong. So ignore those.
Okay, then why did you give us that hint?
It wasn't a hint. It was a correction.
What is it again?
Explore U.S. history, then explore the wild.
Is this Disney themed?
This one is, yeah.
There is the American Pavilion in Epcot.
And I can think of Kilimanjaro. Exploring the wild.
Safaris.
The safari. Okay, Dustin, I see your face, but I'm not seeing any reaction, so I'm not really seeing how.
Stay away from Animal Kingdom.
What?
Explore the wild.
You were kind of right, or you were on the right path with the first one.
Epcot? Oh, good. He did an enthusiastic smile and nod.
All right, so we have the
Epcot.
we have the American Pavilion, and what else?
Is it a pavilion? Is it pavilion based?
I mean, I'm gonna assume. I don't know anything.
I don't know. He didn't smile, so.
Do you have anything?
Where else in Epcot can you learn about U.S. history?
I don't know. I don't do that at Epcot.
No, it's sarcastic. It's sarcastic. It is. It would be in the American Pavilion.
So what is
And then Into the Wild.
Do we know anything that starts with? Do we know anything that starts with pavilion? Pavilion.
Or anything that's inside that pavilion?
I don't know what's inside that pavilion.
Wait, there is a pavilion. The Wait, Into the Wild. Is it an imaginative wild? A figment by any chance?
No. No.
There is a pavilion there though.
I don't think pavilion's the right word. I think it's what's in.
It's not the right word.
It's what's inside.
I
is
am
the
definitively
pavilion.
telling you.
Yeah, I know, but
There's
what,
a
there is a pavilion.
there's a show in the pavilion.
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know.
Is it the Tiki Room?
No.
But that's pretty
No.
wild.
Can
Can you give us a hint?
Can we
No.
Google? Can we
Yes,
use
the hint
Disney
is you're on the right
Experience
track.
But
If
I don't
you
even know
want
what
to.
track I'm on.
app? I don't know what this show is. All I know is that
In what
it's
pavilion?
not very interesting. It's in the American Pavilion. It's like a, I don't know, what do? They like teach you stuff, right?
It's Mark Twain and Benjamin Franklin take you on a tour through American history.
And he wonders
It's
why
actually
we
really
don't know what this is.
I'm assuming the name of it is very important.
It's so cool. It is very important. But it's a show
look up
that
the
has a
name.
ton of animatronics that go into the ground, come out the sides, come from the ceiling. It's very cool.
that,
Oh, and you watch an animatronic walk
that
upstairs
sounds scary.
that
and shake
that
hands.
that
What is
does
it
sound
called?
pretty cool. That does sound pretty cool.
The initials are AA. First word is American.
American Adventure. Adventureland. American Adventureland?
There we go.
There we
Yeah,
go.
American Adventureland. Ding, ding, ding. You did it. So I brought up a little bit about the different methodologies. What do you guys think moving forward with this new system would be the best way to go about it?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about this a lot, and as someone who has only ever experienced Genie Plus, I've never have any experience with FastPass. If I were to recommend getting multipass, there's a couple of steps I would do before that. The first thing I would do is definitely log on as soon as your window starts, because in my opinion, the earlier the better. When you are able to log on, see what your choices are and go from there based on, making the decision if you want to move forward with that purchase or not. I would definitely book that first tier 1 attraction, try to get it as soon as you can. Which is going to be my recommendation for every single time you book any multi-pass, is try to get the earliest time as possible. If that tier 1 attraction is pretty booked up when you're logging on and there's only a later time, personally, I say go for that later time. I don't think that it's worth risking if you have a must ride to, get to the park, use that first one, and then never be able to book that attraction because, everyone's pretty much trying to book that attraction. The downside of that is that, of course, when you're in the parks, you're kind of only playing with two multi-passes at a time to, book and rebook and so on and so on. I am going to miss stacking, but I think that to a certain extent, you can still semi-stack since you can still have, 3 at all times. So honestly, what I did in Genie Plus, and I think I would probably implement the same method, is at the first half of the day, again, book as early times as possible. Try to use them up as quickly as you can so you can keep rebooking the next available. And then at a certain point when you see that availability dwindling, or you see, the rides that you're most interested in dwindling, go ahead and book those last 3 for the afternoon or, later in the day if it means guaranteeing, 3 rides that you're really excited about.
No, that's actually a very good point because you can essentially still do like mini stacking. Logan, did you have another method?
No, I mean, not like a well thought out one. My entire thing is just like obviously getting things as early as you can if you're using the Lightning Lane multi-pass. Since you can only do one tier 1, I do like that they split it up that way so you're not tempted. Like you can get the one tier 1 that you want, that you need or whatever, and then I'm thinking about the tier 2s, picking whatever the earliest is that you can so you can do those stacking, is really what I was thinking all about. Or even the tier 1, getting everything as early as you can, to me is the best way to go.
Yeah, and I didn't mention this, but I mean, the best way to use Genie Plus, and I think the best way to use multi-pass, is to not rely exclusively on the system. You want to have a nice balance of using the system to skip the longer lines, but while also, waiting in some standby queues that may not be that long, or, for rides that you're really passionate about, whatever the case is. You got to find that nice balance, so that, yeah, you're not waiting 90 minutes in any line, but you're not like solely limiting yourself to what the selections are. And take advantage of rope drop.
I think that is one big thing that you just brought up, which is you do not need to use lightning lanes. Like, standby is still 100% an option. Still use the old techniques, like Nate just said. Rope drop, go early, hit a big ride early on, hit it during main eating hours, or even during fireworks or shows. If you don't mind missing those are great times to also ride the rides. And then also, if you're in line before the park closes, like right before, you still get to ride that ride. So that's always a good way to end a park day. So yeah, no, that's a very good point that you just made. I know for me personally, I tell most people the same thing when throughout all of these iterations. Sit down with your group, write down all the rides. Now, since they're tiered, I guess you can put down the different tiered sections of what you want to ride the most, and then kind of rank them. Then, based off of that, get your fast passes. Obviously, the more popular rides are going to be probably later in the afternoon, unless you're like really lucky. But just get the earliest one that you can for that ride, for the most popular rides that you want, and then just keep on refreshing. I would say if it's under 60 minutes, then I say just wait and stand by, because you're going to have to wait sometimes, unless you're going to be refreshing all day, which if that's your method, awesome. That's how I roll. So that makes sense. But if it's under 60 minutes, just wait for it, unless it's like teacups, then, come back later. But use your best judgment.
And if you're in Epcot, maybe take just swing on by to Living in the Land.
That's
you
right.
probably got some time.
Right. Now let's talk about the different rides that are in the top tier. Because there is one that sticks out like a sore thumb to me, and I think I can speak on it pretty well.
I feel like I was also going to ask, about the tier 1 rides, but I feel like I know which one you're talking about.
Yep.
So basically, I'm going to go through, I'm going to read off the tier 1 rides. In Animal Kingdom, no tier 1 rides. In Hollywood Studios, the rides are Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith, and Slinky Dog Dash.
I think that makes sense. I mean, to me, I don't see any not red flags. What is it called? Red hair, whatever. I think that's pretty standard.
Black sheep?
Black sheep, yes. I don't see any black sheep. I don't see any black sheep at Hollywood Studios personally.
So the Epcot is the top tier for MultiPass is Frozen Ever After, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, Soarin' Around the World. But before we move on to the next one, how do we feel about there only being one attraction that offers the single pass? Do we like that? Do we think it's a positive?
I like the single pass. The ones that are determined to be the single pass, those are the ones that I could see myself buying a single pass for.
I mean, I agree. I think I kind of like that there's not too many options, not too many opportunities to take people's money. I think that the selections that they have, like you said...
I'm sorry, take people's money further.
Yes. I also think, I didn't talk about this, but I also think that the single pass is a good alternative to the multi-pass depending on, what you want to get out of the day. It's just the one cost. It's only one ride, but it's easy and it gets a really big one out of the way.
I think, honestly, with Disney, with the way that they did this, I think they actually pretty carefully and successfully threaded a needle when it came to this, with saying that we're moving on to Magic Kingdom, which has the questionable ride, which is for the single pass attractions. They have Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Tron Light Cycle Run. But for the top tier rides, they have Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, makes sense, Space Mountain, okay, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, so we got the 3 mountains, We got Peter Pan's Flight, always a long wait. And then we got this little sore thumb sticking out, which is a place close to my heart, the Jungle Cruise. Now, it is odd that it's up there. It is, okay, so it looks odd, but it actually makes perfect sense. And I can explain why, but I want to see why you guys think it's up there.
You know what, actually? I'm actually surprised that you think that Jungle Cruise is like the black sheep of the group, because I was honestly thinking Big Thunder Mountain.
Really? I
love Big Thunder, but I don't think it's that popular. What I will say about Jungle Cruise, although it's not a favorite ride of mine, it does have a long wait time a lot of the time. So I wasn't actually too surprised to see that in tier 1.
Okay. Logan, do you have anything to say?
I mean, I think it's just weird. I think it makes sense, but it's just like, I feel the same way where I'm like, oh, Peter Pan, really? But I know that it's a crazy popular ride and that it's always there. And I feel like the last couple times that we've gone with and like kind of approached Jungle Cruise, it has been a pretty long wait. And Jungle Cruise is a ride that I would get on if it's not a long wait, maybe like 30 minutes max. It is kind of like a go-to for me. Like, I will always get on it, but yeah.
So I can tell you 100%. The reason why Jungle Cruise is considered a top tier is not so much because of its popularity, but because of the way the ride functions. So Jungle Cruise is basically the Muppets 4D of Magic Kingdom, where there was one time where Hollywood Studios lost all power and everything went down except for Muppet 4D. So the thing was that it was basically holding up the park. That's pretty much Jungle Cruise on the left side of the park, because Jungle Cruise never goes down. Unlike other rides, each boat is an individual working mechanism. So if the boat dies, then we drop the boat and the ride keeps going. Whereas if you Pirates of the Caribbean, if a boat, something happens to the boat, you can drop the boat. But the thing is that if the mechanism that pushes the boat forward, the jets, aren't working, then the whole ride stops. Right? Same with Splash Mountain, same with a roller coaster, same with all those other rides. So the thing that makes the ride go, if it stops going, you can just drop it and then the ride can keep going. So no matter what, the ride keeps going. The 3 factors that determine how quickly the Jungle Cruise is going, or how quickly you can get on the boat, is how many boats are on the river, how long's the FastPass line or the Lightning Lane line, and then also, oh my gosh, what was the third thing? I don't remember. But okay, so there's 2 things. There are 2 factors. But once again, the Jungle Cruise can't go down, because whenever a surrounding ride goes down, say that Pirates of the Caribbean goes down, or Splash Mountain goes down, typically what would happen in the past is that you get a multi-pass, or I guess you can't call it multi-pass now because they took that word, but you would basically get a redemption pass, which allowed you to go to different rides. But when those rides go down, most people will then go to Jungle Cruise. Another factor in that too is that Jungle Cruise is one of the only rides where people in wheelchairs or ECVs can ride the ride without having to transfer, meaning that the wheelchair or the ECV can go right onto the boat. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there are multiple reasons why the wait time shoots up so high. It's not the most efficient ride, especially if you have a long line of wheelchair boats. It takes a little bit longer to load. If it's understaffing, if the maintenance and all that stuff. I only ever worked there once or twice when it closed during the whole year I worked there. So it's a ride that never closes, and it always has a long line because that's where pretty much everything else funnels when everything else goes wrong. Yes, this is all interesting stuff, but I think now it's time to settle the score with round 3 of Park Pairing. All right, so this one's going to be the hardest one. Are you guys ready?
If it's Dumbo Gumbo, we already won.
It's not Dumbo Gumbo. You ready?
Yeah, because we didn't struggle at all for the first 2.
Where cast members assist and where leaders stand.
Cast members assist. They assist at the rides. And leaders stand at the podium.
Do cast members guest services? Maybe? Guest services.
He looks and look at him.
Service to your country.
Service, customer service. Okay, customer service. Writing that down.
Nathaniel's doing really well.
Oh, it's
Nathaniel,
guest
you're
sauce.
so good at like going around the bowl but not going into it. Not
Around
getting
the
flushed
bowl.
down.
So customer service was correct.
Well, it's guest services, but guest services. Is this an attraction? Wait, is that part of the rules? Oh, it's just
What,
two
to ask
theme
questions?
park. No, it's just two theme
Is
park
this the
things.
same concept as the last two?
Yes, no, it is.
So
Services.
the first one was a ride and a segment of the park. So that was Small World and World Showcase. The second one was a show and a section of the park. So
Okay.
location. This next one is a location and then a show.
Show service. Do you know any shows that service?
Wait, but what was the thing again?
Where cast members assist and where leaders stand.
Does
You
this have
got a
something to do with the
location
American
and a show.
the American Pavilion again?
No, I don't.
The Hall
think
of Presidents.
So.
Hall of Presidents.
That's
Hall.
not the American.
Customer Hall. What is the town hall? Wait, what is it called? What is a place called that you go in?
Liberty
like,
Square.
no, the customer service place when you first walk into Magic Kingdom.
Guest services.
Do that again. What was that? It's the Hall of Presidents and like Town Hall. President? Hall. No, doors. Open. Okay, we're doing some,
wait,
what is
isn't
it
it-
called?
Think
We
town but
established that it
bigger.
was City.
City Hall. City Hall of Presidents.
Yay!
City Hall.
I told you I was right.
Oh, because
Got one.
because guest services is in.
It's in the City Hall.
Yeah,
in
guest
City
services is in City Hall.
And then Hall of Presidents because where leaders stand because what's his face sits down and stands up.
Yeah, you did it, you guys! Yay! Well, that was fun. All right, well, that was park pairings. Yeah, join us next time. But I'm gonna leave you guys with one for the audience. Let's do an old icon for Hollywood Studios and the new icon for Hollywood Studios. Have fun. We'll bring it up next time. Pew, pew.
No, we won't.
Or we'll give you the answer next time.
We definitely won't remember.
Have fun and we'll give you the answer next time.
If we remember.
All right, so I have a couple questions for the group, and I want to hear your opinions on this. What is everyone's tier 1 selections from each park? Personally, Epcot is going to be Remy's. Hollywood Studios is always going to be Slinky Dog Dash. And for Magic Kingdom, probably like either Tiana's the first time I ride it or Space Mountain. What about you guys?
For me, it's going to be... It'll either be... Okay, so at Hollywood Studios, it would either be Rock and Roller Coaster or Runaway Railway. I say Rock and Roller Coaster because I actually really do enjoy Rock and Roller Coaster. Runaway Railway, I say because I have a very young son, and out of the three, that's the only ride he can ride, and I think he'd enjoy it very much. Maybe Slinky Dog. So my wife used to be an attraction host at Slinky Dog, so she has a connection to that. So maybe that. I probably wouldn't use it on Smuggler's Run. If I was going to ride Smuggler's Run, I'd probably just wait until the line goes down. So I'm going to say Rock and Roller Coaster for me personally. For Epcot, yeah, I go with Remy's. I don't really like the other two too much. Or I enjoy them. They're just not my favorite. So, what I'm surprised is that Test Track's not on any of
Well,
those.
Test Track is down, right, for its like lengthy refurbishment.
Yeah, good point. I wonder where that's going to go, though.
I
Probably
would
tier 1.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it wasn't tier 1.
Yeah, if it goes to tier 1, then I definitely use that. Magic Kingdom, I'd either do Tiana's the first time or I'd do Jungle Cruise because I really enjoyed riding Jungle Cruise, but I'm not waiting 45 minutes to ride the Jungle Cruise. You know what I mean? So
I would recommend other people pick Jungle Cruise, but me personally, I'm not gonna pick Jungle Cruise.
right. And like I said, since I have a young son, I'd probably either do Jungle Cruise or Peter Pan for him, but I definitely, out of the two, I definitely pick Jungle Cruise.
Okay, so Magic Kingdom, I would definitely do Tiana's because I really want to ride it, but maybe on every other day, I would pick Peter Pan because I just love that ride. Epcot, for me, it's super close between Frozen and Remy's because I absolutely love Frozen, but I do really love the Remy's ride. So I don't know. I think I would go with Remy, but I don't know. Depends on the day. Hollywood Studios, I could probably wait for Runaway, so I guess I would get Slinky Dog.
All right, my next question. My next question. Do you think that Disney would do better, or I guess will it be better received if they took a skip the line approach similar to Universal's Express Pass or Dollywood's Time Skipper? So for people who don't know how these work, basically it is a standard price. It comes at a very high cost, and it's an add-on to your ticket. Which because of that high cost, there's a lot less sales, but the lines for those are much quicker because not a lot of people are buying it, and it doesn't affect the standby line too much, and it's extremely simple to use. You basically just show up at the line at whatever ride that it offers it, show them your pass, and then you're able to just get in line, get into the FastPass and ride the line. There's nothing to have to do with pre-booking. There's nothing, fiddling around with your phone. You just show up and do it.
I don't know. I don't know if Disney's capacity and like the amount of people that go all the time. I don't know. I don't know if it'll work for Disney. I think the tiering and the way that they have it set up allows for the most people to get the most experiences out of it versus kind of like having it behind like a really high cost. But I don't know, because it can also, Disney can get pretty expensive depending on how many people you have like in your party and everything. But I also don't like that the Universal one doesn't include Hagrid's. So that's a problem for me.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the Universal one can cost, I think, close to $100. So it's definitely a significant cost. And to not include every ride, does make it less appealing.
And we've never done it before. Every time that we've gone to Universal, we have never gotten the Express Pass, and I'm not going to lie to you, that's not by like, I'm pretty sure I don't know, it never occurred to me. And I've never had like a bad time or like was super upset or anything.
Right, but I do think there's one thing that needs to be pointed out that Universal does do, which is when you're staying at one of their premier hotels, which is the Lowe's Portofino Bay Hotel, Hard Rock Hotel, and the Lowe's Royal Pacific Resorts, the Universal Express Unlimited is included with your stay, so the price of your room. Disney doesn't do that. You don't get free FastPass. You don't get extra FastPasses.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you didn't know about the Universal hotels until recently because, yeah, they offer like really great benefits for staying at a Universal resort. If you're thinking about it, I think staying at a Universal resort is definitely worth it.
I definitely want to now too, especially like with the yeah, that sounds really great. Again, still super disappointed that Hagrid's is not on there, but I will accept it because the other rides that I really like are on there, and that we have noted here that it does not include Hagrid's, Velocicoaster, and the Pteranodon Flyers, the kids Flyers ride.
The kids only one, kids exclusive. Yep. All right, and then my last question, just to wrap it up: do you see yourself buying the Lightning Lane multi-pass?
Yep.
Yes. I mean, it also depends on the price. One thing that we didn't mention, or maybe we did, what was it called? The adaptive pricing, or what was
Dynamic
it called?
pricing, right.
Dynamic pricing, which I think is a terrible, terrible system. I do not like it at all. When they introduced dynamic pricing, it was the first step in Disney's step away from the Disney decade, where everything was about the guests and about what they, all the perks that the guests got. It used to be as easy as buy a ticket and then you can come whenever you want. They will never expire. And then once that became a thing, then it's like, oh, well, you can't buy it on a cheaper day and then use it on a more expensive day. So they limited how, like, the time frame that you could do it. And then it just, everything kind of just spiraled from there. So now Dynamic went from prices of tickets to now prices of Lightning Lane or the virtual queue.
I'd be interested to understand too if like this is just another kind of trigger for crowd management and or like crowd control.
Yeah, personally, I see myself probably using it once, and then I guess depending on what the availability of the selections and the capacity looks like after that trial run, I feel like I'm less tempted to use it in the future. I mean, we go a lot, so it's probably not as critical. If this was someone's first time or someone who, doesn't get to go to Disney World a lot, I would definitely recommend it. It's a great way to at least skip 3 lines, which is good. But yeah, depending on the dynamic prices and how expensive, that cost can really rack up. And if with the right strategies, like, rope dropping or riding rides during like meal times or even fireworks, if you're not into that, you can pretty much avoid needing to purchase this. Well, as we said, the new Lightning Lane Multipass and Lightning Lane Single Pass is set to launch in 2 days. So on July 24th, you will be able to check this system out for yourself and let us know what you think. Do you like it? Do you not like it? We're interested to hear.
And I recommend for anybody who is interested in the kind of workings of the Disney virtual queue system or even the history of FastPass, there's a great video out there called Disney's FastPass, A Complicated History by Defunctland on YouTube. It's about an hour long, hour and a half. It is incredible. It's an incredible job, an incredible look into basically how Disney views their virtual queues. So I recommend it.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and we will see you in the parks.
For more podcast episodes, listen to us on Spotify or visit our website at www.parkgoersgo.com or follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Parkgoers Go.